Why Golgi bodies is involved in their synthesis? We know that one is called is rough endoplasmic reticulum, and another one is called is smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and another one is called is Golgi bodies or Golgi apparatus. They have specific function. Rough endoplasmic reticulum have the ability to produce protein. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum have the ability to synthesize lipids. Golgi bodies have the ability to produce carbohydrate, means polysaccharides. Carbohydrates. Now we have discussed earlier about conjugated molecules. So protein plus lipids, they are combined together to form lipoprotein. Lipids plus carbohydrates, they are combined together to form glycolipids. Glycolipids. And carbohydrate plus protein combined together to forms glycoprotein. So glycoprotein, glycolipids, lipoproteins, these are actually modified, these are actually synthesized by the Golgi bodies. These are synthesized by the Golgi bodies. So that's why cell membrane is synthesized by the Golgi bodies. And last topic, that is which type of molecule can easily pass through cell membrane. Let's suppose that is a cell membrane. Now, the non-polar molecules, they can easily pass through this layer. Just like release of carbon dioxide and entrance of oxygen. So these are considered to be non-polar molecules. While coming toward the polar molecules, just like glucose or amino acids, so how they can be passed? We have discussed that permeases enzyme is present. So permeases enzyme is a group of enzymes which can help in transport of various type of molecules. They may be involved in transport of amino acids, in transport of glucose molecules, because they are polar in nature. These are polar in nature. So specific mechanism is present for their transport. So that's enough for today. Now if you have any questions, you can ask please.
السلام علیکم سر.
وعلیکم السلام.
سر یہ جو پروٹوپلاسٹ ہے اس میں آپ نے بتایا کہ سیل وداؤٹ سیل وال، تو جو پلانٹ سیل، فنجائی سیل، ان میں تو سیل ہوتا ہے تو پھر سیل وال ہوتا ہے، تو پھر کیسے؟ مطلب ایک دفعہ سمجھا دیں.
یہ کوشچن پلیز ذرا دوبارہ ریپیٹ کریں.
سر یہ جو پروٹوپلاسٹ ہے آپ نے بتایا دیٹ از دا سیل وداؤٹ سیل وال،
جی
تو پھر پلانٹ سیل ہو گیا، فنجائی سیل، اور باقی جو آپ نے ایگزامپلس لکھوائے ان میں تو سیل وال ہوتا ہے، تو پھر ایک دفعہ سمجھا دیے پھر سے.
پروٹوپلاسٹ ہم نے کہا تھا کہ سیل وداؤٹ سیل وال، تو اصل میں جب ہم یہ ٹرم یوز کر لیتے ہیں پروٹوپلاسٹ تو ہمیں پتہ چل جاتا ہے کہ یہ وہ سیل ہے جس کا سیل وال تھا اور ہم نے اس کو ریموو کیا تاکہ ہم اس کو ریسرچ پرپس کے لیے یا فردر ڈیٹیل کے لیے اس کو اسٹڈی کر سکے. تو لیٹ سپوز ہمارے پاس لیبارٹری میں 2 سیلز پڑے ہیں, ایک کے اوپر لکھا ہے پروٹوپلاسٹ, ایک کے اوپر لکھا ہے پروٹوپلازم. جب جس کے اوپر پروٹوپلاسٹ لکھا ہے اس کا ہمیں یہ پتہ چل گیا کہ اس کا مطلب پہلے سیل وال تھا اور انہوں نے اس کو ریموو کیا. تو یہ ایسے ہو سکتا ہے پلانٹ کا سیل ہو, یا ہو سکتا ہے فنجائی کا سیل ہو, یا ہو سکتا ہے بیکٹیریا کا سیل ہو, یا اینی ادر ہیونگ ود سیل وال.
جی.
السلام علیکم سر.
وعلیکم السلام.
سر ابھی جو کوشچن کیا تھا کہ سیل, آپ نے جواب دیا کہ سیل وال ریموو کریں گے تو تب ہم اسے پروٹوپلاسٹ.
والیوم ذرا تیز کر لیں, ذرا تیز بولیں.
آپ نے کہا کہ جب ہم سیل وال ریموو کریں گے تو تبھی ہم اس کو پروٹوپلاسٹ کہیں گے, پلانٹ سیل کو یا فنجائی سیل کو. تو جو اینیمل سیل ہوتا ہے اس میں آلریڈی سیل وال نہیں پریزنٹ ہوتی, تو اس کے لیے ہم یہ ٹرم یوز نہیں کر سکتے.
یہ کوشچن ذرا آپ ریپیٹ کر سکتے, آواز آپ کی بہت زیادہ سلو ہے. ہیلو.
جی سر, یہ جو ٹرم پروٹوپلاسٹ ہے, آپ نے کہا کہ جب ہم سیل وال ریموو کر لیتے ہیں پلانٹ سیل سے یا فنجائی سیل سے تو تب ہم یہ ٹرم یوز کرتے ہیں کسی بھی پرپز کے لیے. جب ہم ریموو کرتے ہیں تب ہم یہ ٹرم یوز کرتے ہیں. تو اینیمل سیل جہاں آلریڈی نہیں ہوتی یہ سیل وال, اس کے لیے ہم یہ ٹرم نہیں یوز کر سکتے.
نہیں, اس کے لیے ہم یہ ٹرم یوز نہیں کر سکتے, اس کے لیے ہم پروٹوپلازم کہتے ہیں. یہ ڈیفرینشیشنز ہے دوز سیلز who contains cell wall or not. تو جن کا نہیں ہے تو پروٹوپلازم ہے, اور جس کا ہے تو وہ پروٹوپلاسٹ ہے.
جس کا ہے اور ریموو کیا ہے تو تین وہ
ریموو کیا ہے نا, تو مطلب ہے کہ وہ پروٹوپلاسٹ ہوا.
ٹھیک ہے.
اس سے ہمیں ڈائریکٹ پتہ چل جاتا ہے کہ اصل میں ارلی سٹیجز میں اس کا سیل وال تھا, ہم نے اس کو ریموو کیا ہوا ہے, اس کو ہم نے ہٹایا ہوا ہے. تو مطلب یہ ایسے آرگینزمس کا سیل ہے جس کا سیل وال تھا لیکن ہم نے اس کو ریموو کیا ہوا ہے.
ٹھیک ہے. اور دوسرا سر, آپ نے کہا کہ جب پروٹین کاربوہائیڈریٹس جب اٹیچ ہوں گے ود ایکسٹرنزک پروٹینز تو وہ ہم سیل سرفیس مارکرز کہیں گے ان کو.
جو ہمارے پاس ایکسٹرنسک پروٹین ہے, کاربوہائیڈریٹ کے ساتھ اٹیچڈ ہوتے ہیں.
تو انٹرنزک کے ساتھ اٹیچ ہو کے اس کو سیل سرفیس مارکرز نہیں کہہ سکتے.
نہیں, ان کے ساتھ اٹیچ نہیں ہوتے. اصل میں انٹرنسک جو ہے چونکہ یہ اسٹرک آؤٹ ہوتی ہے, وہ سیل سرفیس مارکر کے طور پہ کام نہیں کرتی. سیل سرفیس مارکر یہ ہے کہ اس کو آئی ڈی ٹیگز کہتے ہیں, آئیڈینٹیٹی ہے. آئیڈینٹیٹی مطلب یہ ہے کہ جب آپ شوز لینے جاتے ہیں تو آپ ادھر لکھ لیتے, شوز کے اوپر لکھا ہوتا ہے سروس یا باٹا. جب آپ کوئی سویٹر وغیرہ لیتے ہیں تو اس کے اوپر لکھا ہوتا ہے بنینزا, یا مطلب ہر ایک کی جو اپنی اوپر آئیڈینٹیٹی لکھی ہوتی ہے. تو یہ اصل میں ایکسٹرنسک پروٹین جو ہے سیل کی آئیڈینٹیٹی کرواتے ہیں ایکسٹرنل انوائرمنٹ کے ساتھ. ان کو بتاتے ہیں کہ یہ برین سیل ہے, یہ مسل سیل ہے, یہ نروس سیل ہے. یہ
اور ایکسٹرنزک سر,
جی
ایکسٹرنزک یا
ایکسٹرنسک جو سرفیس پہ پایا جاتا ہے.
اوکے, تھینک یو سر.
ویلکم.
السلام علیکم سر.
وعلیکم السلام.
سر آپ نے کہا کہ جو 2 سیل ہیں وہ جوائن ہوئے ہوتے ہیں مڈل لیملا سے.
آواز ذرا اپنی تیز کر سکتے ہیں.
سر آپ نے کہا کہ 2 سیل جوائن ہوئے ہوتے ہیں مڈل لیملا سے.
جی.
تو سر جیسے ریڈ بلڈ سیل ہیں, وائٹ بلڈ سیل ہیں, تو یہ تو جوائن نہیں ہوئے ہوتے ایک دوسرے سے,
کیونکہ ان کے درمیان جو ہے ایل سیلیکٹین نہیں ہوتا. اینیمل سیل جو ہے, اینیمل سیل یہ ایک دوسرے کے ساتھ جوائنٹ ہوتے ہیں ایل سیلیکٹین. کب, کس ٹائم پہ؟ جب ہم گروتھ ان ڈیولپمنٹس کا چپٹر میں پڑھتے ہیں کہ فرسٹ جو ہے سپرم فیوزز ود اووا. جب وہ اس کے ساتھ فیوز ہو جاتا ہے تو اس کے بعد نیکسٹ جو ہے فرٹیلائزیشن سے زائگوٹ بن جاتا ہے. جب زائگوٹ بن جاتا ہے تو یہ زائگوٹ جو ہے یہ سنگل سیل ہوتا ہے. تو کلیویج کے پروسیس سے یہ 2 ڈاٹر سیل بن جاتے ہیں, اور ان ڈاٹر سیل جو ہے اس کو بلاسٹومرز کہتے ہیں. फिर 2 से 4, 4 से 8, 8 से 16, 16 सेल्स तक ये सारे लूजली अटैच्ड होते हैं. इन केस अगर ये एक दूसरे से सेपरेट हो गया तो ट्विन्स बनेंगे, लेकिन 16 सेल्स के बाद जब ये डिवाइड हो जाते हैं 32 बन जाते हैं, तो फिर ये एक दूसरे के साथ टाइट कंपेक्शंस करते हैं. और ये कंपेक्शन जो है वो एल सेलेक्टिन की वजह से है, ये प्रोटीन है तो एनिमल सेल्स को आपस में जॉइंट रखती है. तो मतलब ये है कि अगर हम प्लांट सेल वॉल में सेलुलेज जो हमारे पास वो है मेडिलेमेला जो है ये एक दूसरे के साथ अटैचमेंट्स में मदद देती है, तो एनिमल में जो है ये एल सेलेक्टिन है. तो जिनके साथ एल सेलेक्टिन नहीं होगा तो वो कंपेक्शन नहीं कर सकता.
थैंक यू सर.
वेलकम.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर.
वालेकुम सलाम.
सर ये आखिरी टॉपिक पे से समझा दें थोड़ा.
क्या चीज है?
ये जो स्क्रीन पे बना हुआ है ये पे से समझा दें सर.
ये लास्ट वन है.
जी
ये जो पोलर और नॉन पोलर्स की बात हो रही है,
जी सर.
असल में चूंकि हमारे पास जो है सेल मेम्ब्रेन जो है वो सेमी परमिएबल, पार्शियली परमिएबल या सेलेक्टिवली परमिएबल है ना. तो अब ये मॉलिक्यूल, चूंकि हमारे पास तो 2 टाइप्स के मॉलिक्यूल होते हैं, एक पोलर और एक नॉन पोलर. तो नॉन पोलर मॉलिक्यूल कैसे पास होंगे? नॉन पोलर मॉलिक्यूल डायरेक्टली पास होते हैं. डायरेक्टली फास्फोलिपिड्स को या जो भी इसके रस्त में आ रहा है वो डायरेक्ट पास से निकल सकते हैं. नॉन पोलर कौन है? ऑक्सीजन और कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. लेकिन जो पोलर सब्सटेंसेस है, पोलर मतलब अमाइनो एसिड हुआ, ग्लूकोज हुआ, फैटी एसिड्स हुआ, जो भी मटेरियल्स है, तो पोलर सब्सटेंसेस जो है उसको ट्रांसपोर्ट करने के लिए जो है ये परमिएसेस एंजाइम पाए जाते हैं. तो डिफ्यूजन के जरिए से या ऑस्मोसिस के जरिए से या इलेक्ट्रॉन ट्रांसपोर्ट के जरिए से जो है इनको इन और आउट किया जाता है.
ठीक है सर. थैंक यू.
स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ पे रेज हैंड करते हैं, काइंडली रेज हैंड के बाद आप लोग प्रीवियस स्क्रीन पे चले जाए ताकि हम आपको अनम्यूट करें. आपका ऑप्शन आएगा, आप अपने आप को अनम्यूट करें. जो अनम्यूट ना करें उनको फिर हम क्वेश्चंस उनका आज नहीं दें.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर.
वालेकुम सलाम.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन इस लेक्चर से नहीं था. इससे पिछले लेक्चर में क्रोमेटोग्राफी में जो हमने पढ़ा था, सर क्रोमेटोग्राफी जो है वो हमारे पास मिक्सचर या सोल्यूशन इन दोनों में से किसकी सेपरेशन के लिए यूज होती है?
देखिए, मिक्सचर और सोल्यूशन दोनों तकरीबन एक टर्म्स है. ये केमिकली कंबाइंड नहीं होते, ये फिजिकली कंबाइंड होते. तो फिजिकली जो कॉम्बिनेशंस होती है हम उसको इस तरीके कार से सेपरेट कर सकते हैं.
लेकिन सर अगर
जी
जी जी
लेकिन अगर ये केमिकली कंबाइंड होते हैं तो हम इसके लिए क्रोमेटोग्राफी नहीं करते. तो उसके लिए केमिस्ट्री में अपने टेक्निक्स वो यूज किए जाते हैं.
लेकिन सर अगर हमारे पास ईटा के एमसीक्यूज में ये दोनों एज एन ऑप्शन आए, मिक्सचर है या सोल्यूशन है?
इस टाइप के एमसीक्यूज नहीं आते. ईटा में इस टाइप के एमसीक्यूज नहीं आते. वो आप लोगों को हर चैप्टर के एंड में मैं आप लोगों के एमसीक्यूज बताऊंगा कि इस चैप्टर से इस टाइप के एमसीक्यूज आते हैं.
और सर एक क्वेश्चन, एक ईटा एमसीक्यू ये भी था कि स्टेनिंग टेक्निक जो है वो कितने पर्पसेस के लिए यूज होती है?
नहीं, इस तरह का एमसीक्यू जो है ईटा में नहीं आया.
ओके ओके सर, ठीक है. थैंक यू सर.
अच्छा, अब मेरी दूसरी क्लास स्टार्ट हो रही है. अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम है आप लोग मुझे फिर व्हाट्सएप पे मैसेज करके भिजवा दें. Cell is called protoplasm. Now, the living part of a cell that's called is protoplasm. This term, this word protoplasm that was introduced by John Evangelista Porcine. This word was proposed by John Evangelista Porcine. This term was used by John Evangelista Porcine. Actually, this John Evangelista Porcine, they have also discovered Purkinje's fiber in the ventral of the heart. So ventral of the hearts, they contain Purkinje's fiber, which is the part of autonomous nervous system that was also discovered by John Evangelista Porcine. Now coming toward this protoplasm, protoplasm is further consists of two parts. One is called as nucleus. One is called as nucleus. So this protoplasm is further consists of nucleus and cytoplasm. That consists of nucleus and cytoplasm. Now, the cytoplasm is further consists of, one is called a soluble part and another one is called insoluble part. That consists of soluble part and insoluble part. Now, the cytoplasm that was discovered by Holliker. Holliker discovered cytoplasm. So, now soluble parts of the cytoplasm, that is called a cytosol. That is known as cytosol. So cytosol is actually the region where glycolysis occurs. Glycolysis process occur in cytosol soluble part, while in insoluble part cell organelles are present. Cell organelles are present in non-soluble parts. Now, this cytosol is further consists of two parts. Cytosol is further consists of two parts. One is called true solution, while another one is called is colloidal solution. One is called as true solution and another one is called as colloidal solution. This colloidal solution is further consists of two parts. One is called as sol and another one is called as gel. One is called as sol and another one is called as gel. The sol, that is actually inside region, while gel, that is actually outside region. So this gel actually gives shapes to the cytoplasms. So let's suppose there is a cell, that is a cell having a cell membrane in cytoplasm. Now this jelly-like substance, we call them gel, that is present on outsides. So due to which it gives shape to the cytoplasms, that's a jelly-like and that is a more viscous, while next one is called as sol, which is present inside regions. So that term is called as the protoplasm. So protoplasm, actually the living part of the cell is called protoplasm. Term was introduced by John Evangelista Porcine, which further consists of nucleus and cytoplasm. You know very well, actually this nucleus was discovered by Robert Brown. This nucleus was discovered by Robert Brown in 1838. While cytoplasm was discovered by Holliker in 1866. Now, cytoplasm further consists of soluble part and insoluble part. Insoluble part is that part where cell organelles are suspended. Soluble part is called a cytosol. Cytosols, glycolysis process actually occur over here, and cytosol is also consists of 90% of water. They contain 90% of water. Colloidal solution further consists of true solution. Cytosol consists of true solution and colloidal solution. Colloidal confusion consists of sol and gel. Sol is inside and gel is outside. That's protoplasm. Now coming toward the next topic, that is we are going to discuss about the cell wall. Keep in your mind that cell wall is not the cell organelle. Cell wall is not the cell organelle. This cell wall that was actually discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665. Cell wall was discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665. Now, the cell wall is actually considered to be dead in nature. That's not a live part of a cell, that's dead in nature. So that's why it is considered to be permeable in nature. Do you know permeables? Permeable mean which allow all type of molecule to pass. Which allow all types of molecule to pass. So that's why it's considered to be permeable in nature. Now if someone asks from you that cell wall has been synthesized by, cell wall has been synthesized by protoplasm. That has been synthesized by protoplasm. In this protoplasm, that has been synthesized by Golgi bodies. Why it is synthesized by Golgi? What is the reason? Yes, we know the functions of Golgi bodies. And these Golgi bodies are actually, they are involved in polysaccharide synthesis from simple sugar. They are involved in polysaccharide synthesis. They are involved in polysaccharide synthesis from simple sugar. So these are then packed by Golgi bodies and processed toward the cell wall. Now, cell wall actually, the compositions, the size, the shape depend upon the cells. There are three different layers which are present in cell wall. We are going to discuss them. Let's suppose there are two types of cell. One is called as cell A and another one is called as cell B. These are two cells. One is called as cell A and another one is called as cell B. There are two types of cell. One is called as cell A and another one is called as cell B. Now, we know that each cells have their cell membrane. Let's suppose the outermost membrane, that outermost layer, that's considered to be a cell membrane. or it's also considered to be the plasma membrane. Now, first layer that has been synthesized, that has been produced by the cell, that is known as primary cell wall. So, that is the first layer that has been synthesized, and this first layer that is called as primary cell wall. Keep in your mind, this primary cell wall has been produced during the type of growth that has been synthesized during this when the cell divides. So that is the primary cell wall. Now, there are two cells. Now these two cells, they must be held together with one another. Just like bricks are tightly bonded together with the cement. So over here, when these two cells, they are tied together, bonded together by middle lamella. So that is a middle lamella. So middle lamella is present. Now, in a case of higher plants, while mostly the plants have the only primary cell walls, while in a case of higher plants, so another layer is also produced. Now, this layer actually near to the cell. This layer is actually near to the cell. Now, this layer is called a secondary cell wall. Now, this layer is called a secondary cell wall. That's known as secondary cell wall. Now, various type of MCQs, they can be given from this topic. For examples, you people have studied about the middle lamella. What is the diameter of middle lamella? The diameter is 1 micrometer. While the diameter of primary cell wall is 1 to 3 micrometers. While the diameter of secondary cell wall is 5 to 10 micrometer. So it means the secondary cell wall is thick as compared to other layers. Second, this middle lamella is actually made up of calcium pectate. The middle lamella is made up of calcium pectate. Calcium pectate is further consist of, one is calcium and another is pectin. So they join together and this calcium pectate act as a cement. They act as a cement which tightly bond the two layers of a cells. Two cells are joined together. So because the plant cell, they are tightly bonded to one another. While in the case of animal body, they are tightly, the cells are tightly bonded with the help of L-selectin. L-selectin, they are involved to keep bond the animal cells together. While this primary cell wall, they are made up of cellulose. Mean they are formed from polysaccharides. They are formed from polysaccharides. While secondary cell wall, that is made up of hemicellulose. They are made up of hemicellulose. Second things about the primary middle lamella, in higher plants, middle lamella is lignified. In higher plants, middle lamella is lignified. in higher plants, it is lignified. Lignifieds mean lignin, that is a heteropolysaccharide. Additionally, they are added to give rigidity, to give strength. While primary cell wall in a higher plant, that has been pectinized. Pectinized means pectins are added. Again, heteropolysaccharide is present. While secondary cell walls, ions are added. Ions are present. So that's why it's considered to be ionized. They contain calciums, they contain magnesiums, they contain potassium, so ions are present. So that's why due to these ions, secondary cell wall is considered to be highly optically active. That's considered to be highly optically active. Highly optically active means they scatter, they disperse, they absorb light. While if we talk about the primary cell wall, so that is optically active. That is optically active. One is highly optically active and another is optically active. So that is the difference between the different layers of the plant. Now, second, if someone asks from you the sequence of plant cell wall layer from inside to outside. So that is secondary cell wall, that is primary cell wall, and then middle lamella. Middle lamella. So that is the sequence of plant cell wall layer from inside to outside. While from outside to inside, then middle lamella, primary cell wall, and secondary cell wall. So that is the sequence of these plant cell wall layers. Now, what are the uses of cell wall? What are the various type of use of plant cell wall? Where we can use them? First, they may be used in nitrocellulose. Now, what is nitrocellulose? Nitrocellulose, actually, that is exclusive material. That is exclusive materials. So they are used in minings to break the rocks. Second, they may be used in rayon. Rayon, actually, that is a textile fiber. Rayon is actually the textile fiber. They may be used in a paper making, which we use in a books or in a copy. So we are write down some names. They may be used in cellophane. They may be used in cellophane. What is a cellophane? Cellophane is actually semi-permeable membrane. That is a semi-permeable membrane or partially permeable membrane. This semi-permeable membrane or partially permeable membrane means we are talking about cellophane. This cellophane is used in hemodialyzers. They are used in hemodialyzer machine. Dialysis. They are concerned with dialysis, though they are used to filter out the toxic waste materials like kidney. And last one, they may be used in cyanometography. That is actually the hemodialyzer. Now, last one that their use is called is cyanometography. That's called cyanometography. What's mean by cyanometography? Sign mean movable. Sign mean movable. Graphy mean to record. So actually they are used in gadgets, they are used in mobiles, they are used in TV, they are used in LED, they are used in other electronics. So for which purpose? To record the movable objects. We see various type of cartoons on mobile screen, the movable objects, we see them. So actually this is called a cyanometography. Now, next we are going to discuss about the cell membrane. Our next topic is about the cell membrane, which is also called as plasma membrane. Next topic is about the cell membrane, also called as plasma membrane. Cell membrane, which is also called as plasma membrane. Now, cell membrane or plasma membrane, that is 7 nanometer wide. We have studied about them. That is 7 nanometer wide. Second, cell membrane is considered to be semi-permeable. That is considered to be partially permeable. Semi-permeable, partially permeable. That is considered to be differentially permeable. That is considered to be selectively permeable. So, various type of terms are used for that. Selectively permeable. Among these, the most appropriate and most widely acceptable term, that is selectively permeable. That is selectively permeable, it means the molecules which are required for a cell, they are taken. While those molecules which are not required for the cells, they are not allowed them to the cell. Next, about the composition of a cell membrane. So, composition of cell membrane, actually they are consist of protein, they are consist of lipids, they are consist of carbohydrates. although the amount of carbohydrate is less, but that is present. The percentage of protein is from 60 to 80%. So protein is the most abundant, while the lipids, their percentage is from 20 to 40%. But again, this lipid actually acts as a sea where protein floats. They act as a sea where protein floats. And second things, among these lipids, they also, the type of lipids, type of categories, that's called as cholesterol. Keep in your mind, this cholesterol is present in cell membrane, although absent in bacteria. They are absent in bacterial cell membrane. Cholesterol is absent in bacterial cell membrane, while the percentage of carbohydrate is from 5% to 10%, somewhere 1 to 3%, but up to 10% carbohydrate is present. So that is about carbohydrates, whose percentage is from 5 to 10%. That's the composition of cell membrane. Again, if someone asks from you, cell membrane or plasma membrane that has been synthesized by, so that has been synthesized by protoplasm. Protoplasm is involved in the synthesis of plasma membrane. Within a protoplasm, that has been synthesized by Golgi bodies. They are synthesized by Golgi bodies. Now, there are various type of models are present to explain the structure. First model is called as lipid bi-layer model. Second one is called as lipid bi-layer covered by protein. While third model is called as unit membrane models. Unit membrane model. While last one is called as fluid mosaic model. Last one is the fluid mosaic model. These are the various type of models. Now, these models, the lipid bilayer model that was put forward by this model of lipid bilayers was put forward by Gorter and Grendels. This model was put forward by Gorter and Grendel in 1925. While lipid bilayer covered by protein, this model was put forward by Danson, Danieli, and Devon. Danson, Danieli, and Devon in 1935. Unit membrane model was put forward by Robertson in 1959. While a fluid mosaic model was put forward by Singer and Nicholson. This model was put forward by Singer and Nicholson in 1972. The most widely acceptable model, that is fluid mosaic models. So we will discuss the fluid mosaic model. Now, fluid mosaic model, actually they are made up of lipid bilayers. That consist of lipids bilayers. That consist of lipids bilayers. These are the two lipids layer These are the two layers that's called as lipid bilayers. These are the two layers which is known as lipids bilayers. Now, which type of lipid is present? Phospholipids. That is, a phospholipid is actually present. We will discuss about phospholipid in detail in biological molecules. Actually, lipids families consist of 6 members: animal fats, plant oil, phospholipid, waxy, steroid, and terpenite. So phospholipid is present. And this phospholipid, that actually consists of 2 parts. One is called a tail. This tail is actually made up of fatty acids. That's made up of fatty acids. Now this fatty acid may be unsaturated or it may be saturated. And that is considered to be hydrophobic in nature. That's considered to be hydrophobic in nature. While the next part, that is called is head. Now this head is made up of phosphate group. This phosphate group have a negative charge and is considered to be hydrophilic in nature. That is hydrophilic in nature. They are water loving. They are water loving. Now, there are small amount of cholesterol molecules are also scattered. Small amounts of cholesterol molecules are also scattered. That is a cholesterol molecule. Cholesterol molecule actually, they maintain the temperature of a cells during hot and cool. So they maybe come close together, these fatty molecules, or they may be separated from one another. But anyhow, this cholesterol molecules is also present over here. And next, the most important part, that some of the proteins are also present in them. It may be of either sides or it may be stick out. It may be stick out. So, now this type of protein that has been stick out on both sides. Those protein which is present on one side, that is called as extrinsic protein. That's called as extrinsic protein, which is also known as integral. That's also known as extrinsic protein or peripheral protein. While those protein which stick out on both sides, that's called as integral proteins or intrinsic protein. That's called as intrinsic protein or also called as integral proteins. That's called as integral proteins. For example, permeases. That's one of the example of intrinsic or integral protein. This permeases help in osmosis. They help in diffusion. And they help in active transport. So these are their function. These are their function, active transport. One thing more which is related with them, that is actually, let's suppose that is a lipid bilayers, and there are protein molecule which are present on one side and those which stick out. Now these contain also a small amount of carbohydrate as well. Carbohydrate is also attached with them. While carbohydrate is